My hands over here, Mehul, or down?
Hi everyone, welcome to Finance Friday. My name is Hena Mehta and I'm the founder and CEO of Basis. Today we have a very exciting chat coming up with Sahar Mansoor. Sahar is the founder of Bare Necessities. It's a zero waste personal care brand. And today we're going to talk about all things sustainable while also keeping in mind sustainability on our pockets. So let's get started. Thank you, Sahar, for doing this chat.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Let's start with a quick introduction. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, your journey so far?
Sure. I'm a Bangalore girl. I grew up with two big sisters and a really fierce, brave mom. We unfortunately kind of lost our dad when we were really little. So I think, growing up, I had these amazing role models of strong, amazing women who were doing things by themselves. And, my mom basically went to grad school after we lost dad and raised us all three by herself, which is so I think I'm super lucky to have also went to all girls high school where I had lots of amazing role models of women all around me. I spent a lot of time in the park, and I think that's why I'm an environmental entrepreneur now. And yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
Great. Cool. So can you talk a little bit about, three sisters. I'm sure that was a lot of fun growing up.
Yeah.
And I know your sisters as well, and you are all these strong, independent women. Was there something about how your mom raised you, something about your upbringing, on what made you all these awesome women?
Thank you. That's really kind of you, first of all. I think largely because of the circumstances, we had this discipline of we have to be good kids. We shouldn't add any extra additional pressure on mom, and we should try and be the best individuals we can possibly be. And honestly, I was really lucky because I had these two amazing role models in my sisters. Saba at the age of 25 was in New York Fashion Week. At age 14, created the first sparkle nail polish in Asia. My sister Ifad had this amazing discipline with sports, and right now I'm trying to learn and get into sports and largely because of what she showed me through, and what she learned through that. So I think we also just saw my mom working really hard, and I think we started to value hard work at a very early age. And I think that's kind of shaped my ideas of wanting to go to school in America or the UK, and also working really hard to get those scholarships and make it really easy and not an additional burden. I talk to my friends in the US, and they're still stressing about their student loans, and I'm so lucky I got a full ride to the University of Cambridge. So in terms of that additional financial pressure on my education wasn't so
I think at some point we'd love to interview your mom as well. She sounds amazing. Great. So I think let's switch to sort of your company now, your lifestyle. Can you tell us a little bit about what does it mean to live a zero waste lifestyle? And I think I'm very curious, and I'd love to hear more.
Yeah, sure. So essentially, I am attempting to live a zero waste lifestyle. The idea is that you don't need to add any waste to the landfill or waste to the trash can in this room, and you can just try and avoid and make your waste the bare minimum. So while zero waste is quite an aspirational goal, I think you've got to shoot for the moon, and maybe you'll hit the stars, which is great also. So essentially, the idea is to just live a more mindful lifestyle and be more cognizant of your decisions and your consumption patterns, in which we can kind of reduce our footprint on the earth.
Right. And how does that impact us financially if we're attempting to lead a lifestyle to leave as minimum of a footprint as possible? How does it translate to money and budgets and our finances?
Honestly, people think that the zero waste lifestyle can be pretty intimidating. It's really expensive. You need to have a high disposable income to try and shop at a certain store, or have to buy organic something in a beautiful glass jar or something. And I think it's more accessible than we think it is. For example, the first thing we all do when we wake up in the morning is brush our teeth with a plastic toothbrush. So instead, you could use a bamboo toothbrush or a miswak stick, which is literally available for 20 rupees outside any mosque, or even a neem stick, which are also very actually traditionally Indian. So in a way, zero waste lifestyle also advocates to going back to your roots, and a lot of those things that you'll end up using are not just more sustainable for the earth, but they're also less expensive. So another really good example for women is menstrual cups. So you could use, this has been they've been using menstrual cups since the 1920s with absolutely no negative health impacts associated with it. It's made from a medical grade silicone, so actually when you're done, you can just basically burn it and it becomes a little ash. You can use it for 10 or 15 years depending on the make of the product. And this is 700 rupees. So if you buy just one, you can use it for 10 or 15 years, versus if you're buying a box of tampons or 2 packs of tampons, which is about 800 rupees per cycle. You know, that's a lot of money.
Right.
You could be saving about 2 lakhs in just switching to menstrual cups. 700 rupees versus 2 lakhs on that. Not only that, but also, you know, plastic pads. Pads just generally have about plastic pads have about 7 to 9 plastic bags in it. So it will take about 800 years to start decomposing in the first place.
Right.
And then tampons have toxic shock syndrome associated with it. And cotton is the dirtiest plant in the world. I mean, they use tons of fertilizers, is what we mean.
Right.
And they have bleach in it. So it's actually draining your body of healthy fluids that should actually be there. So so menstrual cups are better for your health and the environment.
And are these easy to clean, and are they hygienic?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Since they've been using it since the 1920s, you can just, you know, rinse it with hot water. Really easy to clean, really easy to use. I mean, in terms of transitioning, it takes about a cycle or 2 to get used to it. But honestly, in no time you won't even think about it.
Right. And are these available in India? And
yes, they're available everywhere. There are a bunch of Indian makes. Some of them are available at Bare Necessities.in. There are a bunch of great brands out there.
Awesome. So 2 lakhs over 10 years, you said, right?
Yes.
Savings. So just think about what that could translate to. Put that money into a mutual fund, and that 2 lakhs could literally be compounding over those 10 years. I guess, Sarah, can we learn some like other ways, like changes we can make in our day-to-day lifestyle that's better for the environment and also, you know, better for our pockets?
Yeah, absolutely. I think clothing is a big one. You know, we're living in this era where we like to wear certain outfits and we like to keep changing it up because we're also maybe sharing a lot on social media. So I think we're all getting really cognizant of what we're wearing. And I think on an average, we saw that about 500 rupees to 2,500 rupees is what an average Indian spends per month to procure new clothes. So, you know, maybe just shopping more mindfully and less. Maybe swapping clothes, embracing hand-me-downs. You know, like I mentioned, I have 2 big sisters, so embracing hand-me-downs, wearing some of theirs, swapping with your friends. There are tons of clothes swaps in Bangalore. There's one this weekend. So where you can actually just put aside a couple of your clothes that maybe you're bored of or whatever, and then you can swap it out for other amazing clothes. And, you know, basically in a year, if you are shopping at that average statistic that I gave you, you would be spending about 18,000 rupees per year. So even if you save half of that, okay, let's say even if you save just 9,000 rupees, that is also really
that's huge. And again, going back to like compounding and other stuff, and here's like a little bit of plug for Basis. If you start that SIP for literally the 1,000 rupees a month that you may be spending on, you know, new clothes that you may not even need or you may not use after, you know, 1 or 2 wears, you know, that could lead to like a lot of savings over the course of, you know, medium term and the long term. I guess just a quick anecdote about clothes. So I think I was one of those. I was, you know, I was living in the US, etc. Like, you know, you had to have new clothes. I would get bored of, you know, whatever I had. And I realized fashion is so cyclical. Like there was a time when I was like, oh my God, I wish I did like throw out those clothes because 5 years later they were all like back in vogue, right? And then I had to go out and buy the same stuff, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be a little bit of a hoarder and then just shop less, because you know what, it's it doesn't make sense, right, to just keep buying new stuff and the same stuff coming back into fashion, you know, and things you may want to buy again later.
Absolutely. And also fashion is one of the most polluting industries in the world. Right. So with the fast fashion becoming so prominent, you know, where on an average a worker is getting 39 cents per hour. So really, like, you know, what is the true cost of the clothing that you and I are wearing? These are important questions to ask yourselves. And also, you know, the Rana Plaza incident that took place in Bangladesh, where thousands of garment workers were killed in the process of making fast fashion clothing. So also we're really lucky actually in India, you know, you can embrace local fabrics. There's khadi, there's ikat, there's bandhani, there's, you know, so much of natural dyes and block dyes and using turmeric as a color, using beetroot as color rather than using synthetic dyes that are actually polluting our oceans, our rivers, our groundwater in which we're then trying to grow food and then eat it.
Right.
And also there's the environmental externalities of it, right? What is the true cost of our food if it's being polluted and then you're maybe in the hospital for, a lot of these personal care ingredients, etc., are known carcinogens. So like how much are you going to pay for your treatment in the long run?
Right.
So actually maybe going more chemical free and more sustainable maybe embodies a more truer cost of the commodity in certain ways as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like cost of healthcare, etc., is not cheap, and women actually over the course of our lives have higher healthcare costs than men, and here are some like easy ways we can prevent it early on. Great. Can we do just one more quick example about what we could change?
Yeah, absolutely. I think commuting is a big one. We're all complaining about traffic in our cities. So, for example, if you're driving a small car, on fuel and maintenance, etc., in a year, you will be spending 48 lakhs. Sorry, my bad, 10 years. 10 years.
Right.
You will be spending about 48 lakhs. Versus if you are using public transportation system, the metro in Bangalore is pretty good, or you are cycling or walking, which is great for your health as well, you will be spending anywhere from 1 to 2 lakhs
per year.
In 10 years.
Oh, in 10 years. Right. Okay.
So 48 lakhs versus 1 or 2 lakhs over a 10-year cycle is
a lot of money.
Yeah.
Great. I think those are changes we can start making literally as soon as today. Okay, so I think one personal question, Sahar, how has it been for you, starting up on your own, being an entrepreneur, and then just balancing out your financial health and how you kind of manage money and things like that?
Yeah, sure. Honestly, I'm going to be very honest on this one because it's not easy being an entrepreneur. When I first moved back to India and I had a job, my first salary, I had a SIP and a mutual fund, and I was like, okay, putting X amount per month. And then once I started working on my own social enterprise on the side, but I wasn't able to take that plunge immediately. So I worked full-time on both jobs for a year and a half.
Wow.
Until I felt that I had some savings to put into this company. And then when I did go full-time, I had to kind of reduce my SIP and mutual fund savings per month because I obviously didn't take salary for a long time. And so honestly, but you have to think about the long run. What are you building? What is the value of it? And really believe in yourself and know that you are building something that is going to be way more valuable in the long run. So maybe you're not going to take salary for a year or two, but for the next 10 years, this is what's going to happen. So we're just raising our seed round, and I'm so excited to start taking salary again.
Yes.
So I think it's comes with its challenges, but also when you're running your enterprise, to be really mindful, ask for help, tap into your social network. You don't have to kind of pay huge fees and everything. You can have your lawyer friend go over your legal terms and conditions to your website, or a friend of yours to help you with branding. And it's kind of like it's also pretty sustainable on your pocket, but also it builds a sense of community around my friend circle, the women friend circle specifically that I've had from Sapphire in my school that I tapped into, and I think it's a lot of give and take, and I think there's something really valuable in those relationships.
That's very helpful. I think one of the questions we had from the community was, there's someone who said she wanted to in the future like to have a business that promotes local handicrafts and arts. What is the minimum starting investment she should plan for, and other things she should keep in mind pertaining to like sustainability issues? Okay. What would be your advice to her?
Great question. It's hard to put one particular price on your starting investment, but I would kind of go back to the point I just made earlier, is be smart, tap into your social network. You don't have to have a sexy office on your first day of work. Like you can start from working from home. You can, just think about innovative ways in which you can save money initially until you at least build traction. So start small. Look at things, keep your overheads really low at first. So don't add extra kind of expenses that you don't need at this phase. Look out for free versions of different apps, whether it's your website that you're trying to code, or like a financial Wave is great for small businesses to manage your finances. So just look out for things that can make your life easier on a low budget at first. I started really small with a 50,000 investment, and then we just kind of keep kept growing, and then whatever we generated, we just put it back into the business. So obviously I kept the overheads really low. We work out of my mom's garage, like save on rent. And then now my third year, we have built a team of 8 people. But at first, like I was the operations manager, I was the shipping logistics person, I was the manufacturer.
Chief everything.
Right. So, but that just helps keep the cost low until you prove something. And and so test, ask people, get feedback, be open to criticism, suggestions, because that's the only way you can grow.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. I know a lot of folks in our community are looking to start something of their own, or work from home and have a source of income and following our passions, etc. So thank you for that advice.
Yeah, for sure.
Great. So I think we're nearly at the end of the chat. I just want to summarize the 3 things Sahar mentioned on changing our lifestyle that could save us a ton of money. Also, whatever you're saving from this, invest it through Basis. So one was like, switching from pads and tampons to menstrual cups. The second thing was trying not to buy new clothes, try sharing, swapping. There's a lot of that that's going on. And then the third thing is try to use public transportation and, bikes and things like that versus, driving a car. And that could translate to huge savings and a lot of good returns over the course of our lives. Great. Thank you so much, Sahar. This was so useful.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and if folks do have questions, we'd love for you to just answer them if they come in.
Sure,
Great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks.